Live tonight from the Bell's Scottish Premier Division, it's Motherwell, who are rock bottom against the leaders, Rangers. What a difference a year has made to Motherwell. 12 months ago, they were second, chasing Rangers hard at the top. Now they are on the bottom. Not much changes at Ibrox, though. They're top once again, only by a point, mind, as they chase their 8th consecutive title. Our guest here this evening, Charlie Nicholas. Welcome, Charlie. Nice to see you. What everybody's been asking, I know, but what on earth has happened to Motherwell?
Oh, it's been a disastrous time they've had. I mean, you say mid-October since they last had a victory. They just can't score goals, Richard. That's the main problem. They've had Coyne and Arnott, their main goal scorers, out with a lot of injury, worries, and they just can't score goals.
This is how the Bell Scottish Premier looked 12 months ago. Bottom to top. Partick Thistle were in 10th place. Then it was Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, of course, who eventually went down. Hearts, Celtic 5th, struggling at the time. Falkirk, Hibs, Motherwell, 32 points from 18. Rangers on top. Now, it's a very different situation. 14 points from 17 games played. That's real trouble, isn't it?
That's serious trouble. I think Alec McLeish is a real up-and-coming manager, but last season, as you say, they've done so well. Got into Europe, and this season's just been a real bad time for him. There's a lot of injury troubles, to his credit, but he's stuck with the style that Alec believes in, which is a passing game, and full credit to him for that, but they are in a bit of trouble at the moment.
And having lost Dundee United last year,
yeah,
Aberdeen comes so close to going as well. Nobody's too big, it seems, to go down. There's no divine right to stay in the top flight, is there?
That's definitely true. We even had it in England with Notts Forest going down a couple of seasons ago. There's no such thing as you're too good to go down. Dundee United went down last season. Aberdeen were lucky to stay up, and there's every chance, although it's very early yet, but Motherwell are in that predicament of being down there. And when you're stuck in it, it's so difficult to get out.
Let's turn our minds back to the top. Rangers on top, but only by a point. Celtic pushing really hard, but it is very much a two-horse race, isn't it?
Very much so. I think Celtic are 13 points ahead of Hibs, something like that. I mean, it really is a two-horse race this season. But if there's one thing for sure, the one team who will and can win the title from Rangers is Celtic. That has always been the case. Aberdeen went close on a few occasions, but Celtic really carry the big threat. The big pressure is Celtic, and they're playing ever so well.
Does that make it a different psychological game as far as Rangers are concerned? Of course, Celtic are breathing down.
Of course it does. Celtic are well renowned for finishing well. The last 5-6 years have started particularly badly. This time of the season, Rangers have got the league title wrapped up from Celtic. This is the first time they're putting in a serious challenge, and they're playing well.
He never sank so low in an illustrious playing career. He couldn't pick a better night to start turning Motherwell's season around. To date then, played 17, won only twice. They've beaten Aberdeen and Kilmarnock. Lost 7, 14 points, scored only 13 and conceded 20. Those 2 wins coming at home, where they've been held 3 times and lost 3. Only 7 points from 8 games played. Coyne, top goal scorer. This underlines really what Charlie was saying, with only 3 though. Arnott 2, Burns has got 2, and Hendry 2. The average attendance just over 6.5, 16 booked and 1 sent off. And the last 3 league games, drew with Falkirk 1-1, lost to Hibs 2-0, and beaten by Aberdeen by 1-0. The manager, Alex McLeish, is with Davy Propp.
Alec, let me ask you first of all about the changes that you've made to the training routine recently, because we understand that the players have been putting in some extra hours.
Well, it's not only recently, Davey, although it's emerged recently that we have been working at extra hours in the afternoons, but we've been doing it for a wee while now, gradually introducing it into the players' habits, because for a long time it's been going home at lunchtimes. We wanted to implement it at the start of the season, and we're going to gather a bit of momentum as far as that's concerned, but the players are quite happy to do it.
Given the situation that the Motherwell players find themselves in at the moment, do you think they're finding it hard to relax and express themselves?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. With the position and the pressure in the league, then it doesn't allow players to express themselves, as you rightly say. But, you know, what I will say is they're frustrated at the moment. The heads aren't down. I wouldn't say the heads are down, because they're making chances and they've missed a few. I hope we continue to do that tonight. We've just got to be more ruthless in front of goals.
Now, the relegation area is unfamiliar territory to you. You're used to spending most of your time at the top end of the league as an Aberdeen player. Just how are you coping with this kind of pressure?
Well, it's not a nice feeling. I'm not doing cartwheels about the situation, but there's a lot of points to be played for, and we've got a lot of players injured, a lot of key players injured. Players that have come in have done quite well for us, but you know, when we're hampered by losing our captain for such a long time, and other key players such as Tommy Coyne, then it does take its toll, no matter the strength and depth you've got.
Coyne in particular has been a very significant absentee. How quickly do you hope to have him back in a Motherwell jersey?
Well, it's really just a case of Tommy saying to me, I'm okay, Gaffer, I can play again, I'm ready to play, and we'll step up the training programme. He's training at the moment, he's struggling a wee bit kicking the ball, he's still feeling a bit of pain in his knee, but he's feeling very strong in the running, so maybe not too far away.
Good luck, Alec, enjoy the game.
Thanks, Stevie.
Young manager, of course, whom you've played with at Aberdeen. Is this his first real test at the moment?
Yes, undoubtedly. Last term, the manager before him was Tommy McLean. He'd done remarkably well, but he was a seasoned campaigner, very well organised, Tommy McLean. Alex came in, first go at it, and did well and got marvellous credit for it. This time, different pressure. But there's one guy who can handle pressure with a bit of humour, Big Alex the type.
Although that doesn't come across there.
No, well, he's getting a lot of pressure from his own supporters, so he's got to be particularly serious when he's talking about Motherwell's position at the moment. Anybody else would be, but you can bet your bottom dollar when he goes into that dressing room today, he'll be relaxing the atmosphere as much as he can. He'll last the pace, no problem.
The fact that they're coming back in the afternoon and putting 2 or 3 hours work in, is, although he says that's something he wanted to introduce at the start of the season,
yeah.
Does that suggest that they're having a go as a result of the form, that they're trying anything to change things around?
No, I think it's always been said, I think Andy Gray's a great believer of this also, is when you're in trouble, you look for a bit of luck, a bit more luck than you've been getting, and then you've got to concentrate on hard work. And that's really the only thing that can get you out of it. There's no solution to the problem that Alec is facing. He simply knows that they're making chances, they ain't taking them. Lack of confidence, they need a little bit of luck and hard work, and then you get the benefits.
Just £200,000 to spend in the summer. Otherwise, it's virtually the same personnel. But that underlines, I suppose, how difficult a job it is.
Well, of course. I mean, last season he sold Phil O'Donnell to Celtic, 1.75 million, and then this term he's only spending like £200,000. They've refurbed in their stadium, done it well, but at the same time, when the team needs strengthened, Alec could do with strengthen it at times.
And now, live tonight on Sky Sports, it's Motherwell against Rangers. Top, of course, by a point, Rangers. This their game in hand this evening. So they'll go into the Christmas period with the four should they win it. As Charlie was saying, the Champions League is what they have their eye on. But Motherwell are desperate for points and will give nothing away cheaply tonight. ...191 meetings down the years. Motherwell have won only 31 of those. Despite that poor record, they have won 4 of the last 9, mind you. Underlining what Charlie was saying, they're capable of surprising the big boys. Mind you, at Fir Park, Rangers have won 12 of the last 18, 55 in all of the 95 that have been played. 9-2 Motherwell. 7-4 on Rangers for the win, 12-5 the draw. And the teams are in with the referee, so let's go to Fir Park and join Davy Provin, who's got all the details for us. Davy, good evening.
Good evening, Richard. Thanks and welcome to Fir Park. Clearly a big night for both clubs this evening. Rangers, of course, their lead at the top has been cut to just 1 point after Celtic beat Falkirk on Saturday. For Motherwell, well, just 14 points out of a possible 51. And that means they have to find some form and find it quickly to get out of that relegation zone. We've had a look at the team sheets. We can go through the Motherwell side first. Well, ironically enough, apart from the 2 old firm clubs, Alec McLeish's side have the best defensive record in the league. It's been scoring at the other end that's been the major problem for them. Only 2 goals in their last 8 games and 18 fewer than they had at the same stage last year. Still no Tommy Coyne or Dougie Arnott up front, and that means Alec Burns and Andy Roddy will be asked to provide the firepower. At the back, Chris McCart still absent through injury, and that means a back 3 of Martin, Krivokapic and Denham, with a midfield of Sean McSkimming, Billy Davis and Paul Lambert. Moving on now to Rangers. Well, both Paul Gascoigne and Oleg Salenko suspended for this one. Other absentees through injury: Ali McCoy stands Stuart McCall. And at the back, no Alec Cleland or Gary Boland. And that means places tonight for Alexei Mikhailichenko. He scored 3 incidentally for the reserves on Saturday. And also recalled to the midfield area, Ian Ferguson. Up front, the pairing is Brian Laudrup and Gordon Dury. That's the way they line up here at Fir Park tonight, Richard, as Rangers try to extend that lead at the top to 4 points again. As far as Motherwell are concerned, well, they're desperately needing a victory tonight. If they do win tonight, it'll be a long way back, I would have thought, for Alex McLeish. He was clearly nervous when we spoke to him early on. It's a big night for Motherwell.
With Norwich, we saw him make his debut, in fact, if I remember correctly, for Motherwell against Hibs in a goalless draw about a year or so ago, and he won that night the Man of the Match award. He's made the position his own since, hasn't he?
Yes, he has done. There's a lot expected of Scott Howie. I mean, he went to Norwich and didn't play very much, being under Brian Gunn. But he's came back to Motherwell and again been in and out, but there's a lot expected of this guy. And Nicky Walker, who's been in the Scottish squads of late, broke his jaw at Thistle a few weeks ago. So there could be a gap in the goalkeeping position. So people like Scott Howie are always going to be interesting, people like Craig Brown.
Well, they haven't scored so many. As Davey was saying, they haven't conceded a lot of goals, have they, Motherwell?
No, they haven't let in a lot
to the keeper.
Well, it's a lot to do with him and the defenders. They've always been fairly strong defensively, Motherwell. That's where they really made their reputation last season. They weren't letting in a lot of goals, but unfortunately they're dry up front, particularly Coyne and Arnott, who have been thorns in Rangers' side in the last few seasons, especially Arnott. So they're missing tonight, but there'll be a lot expected of Scott Howie tonight.
As you say, they bought big again, Rangers, this past summer. The year before, they introduced Brian Laudrup to the Premier Division. Is he still having the influence on them that he once was?
Not as much this season. He's had a lot of injury problems again. Not really played a great amount of games. I don't think he's been as influential as he certainly was last year. Last year he took our game by storm. He was just individually magnificent, to be honest. But this season it's been fairly quieter, mainly probably because of his injury problems, but the ability's there. He's got a tremendous amount of ability, and these are the type of players. I think he prefers going away from home at times because his team seems to get that a little bit more room.
What do they do with him? When I last saw it was anything you like, really, but is that still his brief?
Yeah, basically he gets a free role. He can go and play on the right or the left, through the middle. No one really knows where they're going to tie Laudrup down. Anywhere he wants to go and get space and be a pest, then they allow him to do that because he wins matches for Rangers.
Live tonight from Sky Sports, action from the Bell's Scottish Premier. It's Motherwell against Rangers. And it's live, all the action coming up after the break.
Motherwell's misfortune this season really has been an amazing turnaround to find them holding up the Premier Division at this stage in the season. The last victory was on the 14th of October when they beat Aberdeen by 2-1 in a very impressive performance. So Rangers haven't tasted defeat in domestic competition too often this season. The last league defeat was the 23rd of September when they lost 1-0 at home to Hibs. Apart from that, the only other domestic defeat was in that Coca-Cola Cup semi-final against Aberdeen when they lost by 2-1. So they beat them very young in these parts. Well, there's a muted atmosphere about Fir Park these days. The bubble of the last couple of seasons has certainly disappeared, and it will take a really good resounding victory, I think, to turn that around. So these supporters coming here more, I think, in hope than expectation tonight. But Motherwell certainly a side capable, Thierry, of playing some excellent football.
Yes, they do play some very, very good football. They like to pass it around at the back and trying to spread the play, trying to open up the opposition. But I think deep in the back of their minds, they know that if they do give the ball away against Rangers, in particular, if Brian Laudrup picks up the ball, then they're going to have a very torrid 90 minutes. I mean, if he's on form, then no matter what team he's playing against, he'll do well. But because he just runs with the ball and opens up the opposition, if Rangers are under the cosh, and sometimes they have been this season, he's been able to get hold of the ball and run the ball out of defence, and the Rangers have been able to get out and obviously mount attacks. But there's always that thought Motherwell should push forward, try and pin Rangers back early on, give their fans here some confidence and some hope right from the word go. But they know that they're very vulnerable on the break.
So these Rangers supporters too were a bit despondent after the European expedition this season, especially these matches against Juventus, home and away. But still leading the Premier Division and looking set for an 8th consecutive title. But for the challenge now materialising now in the east end of the city from Celtic.
Yeah, so Charlie said Celtic are playing very, very well. They are a very confident side now. They've been able to get the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis, which is something that the previous strikers there didn't seem to do on a regular basis. So, you know, Celtic really are mounting a very serious challenge.
So let's check again on tonight's teams. The Motherwell team, they're a bit depleted again, although they do have Eddie May and Rob McKinnon back. Mira Drajkovic, a key man right at the back, with Brian Martin's experience, and Greg Denham, a very impressive young central defender, left-sided player wearing number 6 there, with Sean McSkimming, a £350,000 signing a year ago, back in midfield.
Yes, it's a very good and very tried and trusted formation by Alec McLeish. 3 at the back and the 5 in midfield, really, with Rob McKinnon coming back into the side. Him and David Robertson, 2 very, very good left-sided players, are able to get forward and supply the ammunition to their frontmen, and Burns and Roddy in particular. If they can start the way they played against Hearts, then the Rangers back 3 or back 4 should be in for a very hard 90 minutes.
So that's the Motherwell setup. A lot of left-sided players in that side, very unusually. Now the Rangers set up minus Paul Gascoigne, Ali McCoist, Selenko suspended, Stuart McCall injured, Alec Clellan and Gary Boland out of the side also, but still able to bring in Alexei Mikhalichenko wide on the right. Ian Ferguson back to fitness. Gordon Jury will be the focal point of the attack, I think, with Brian Laudrup the main support, and Derek McInnes still wearing number 2, likely to play in the centre of midfield.
Well, this is how we think they're going to line up. I think every time we've tried to line up Rangers in the past, we've always come a cropper. But Mikhalichenko's gone on to the right-hand side, I think, doing a bit like David Cooper, able to play or ping balls in with his left foot to his strikers. But there'll probably be a 5-man midfield with Laudrup floating around up front and Gordon Jury up front on his own.
So the 2 sides confirmed. The warm-up being completed as referee Jim McCluskey makes his way into the centre. The referee has a very impressive record. He's handled 3 League Cup finals in Scotland on 3 different venues: Ibrox, Parkhead, and of course the National Stadium at Hampden Park. A very experienced official, 22 years as a referee, and on the FIFA list, of course, one of the most highly rated officials in the country. Well, Derek McInnes cost £300,000 when he joined Rangers from Greenock Morton. This is only his 2nd match. He played against Partick Thistle 10 days ago in the 1-0 victory. But a very impressive young player, now 24 years old, and a man on whom Rangers are depending a great deal for the future. Brian Martin thinking no doubt about European Championship finals in England next summer. He's been a part of the Scotland squad in the last year or so and has performed creditably when he's been called upon. Had some injury problems this season though. He's skippering Motherwell tonight in the absence of Chris McCart, who's a long-term injury victim. So off go the Mascots. The formality's almost over. Still not the kind of noise and buzz you would normally expect around the stadium. It'll take some action, I think, from the middle to change that. Motherwell at the kick-off. Brian Laudrup and Gordon Jury being waved away there. So referee McCluskey checks with his linesman. He's satisfied that everything's in order. And this crucial Premier Division match is underway. As Billy Davis slotted straight into the centre of midfield, where he'll face Charlie Miller. And you're already starting on the right-hand side of the Motherwell attack. David Robertson back in a defensive position at the start. Eddie May, another player who has been troubled by injury this season, signed from Falkirk last season, a deal worth around £300,000. Steve Cook and Paul McGrillen going to Falkirk, a cash adjustment. So Andy Gorham going to early field the ball.
I think we got it right this time, Jock, with the lineup. So Mikhalichenko's gone onto the right-hand side of midfield. Load up on the left-hand side a little bit, with Rangers really playing 3 at the back, playing 5 in midfield, so it's a sweeper system versus sweeper system.
Here's Goran Petric, put under pressure by Andy Roddy. So very impressive defender with Dundee United, now trying to establish himself at the top level again, looking for some international recognition. Andy Goran has had 12 shutouts in 26 matches this season. Ian Ferguson's layoff. This is Miller. And now Laudrup dropping deep. David Robertson racing ahead of him. But not quite that far ahead. There's Krivokapic. And delightful skills again from the Motherwell defenders. A bad clearance though. And Scott Howie relieved to see that go wide. An early chance there for Derek McInnes. And a bad start for the goalkeeper.
Yes, the back pass was just right. He seemed to cuff it here, went to Derek McInnes. He first thought he could have a pop a goal, and had that been on target, I think Scott Howie might not have got back across his goal. So a bit of a nervous start by Scott Howie.
And the nerves still evident there, and that goal kick. 23-year-old goalkeeper. Established himself though, instead of Steve Woods in the Motherwell goal. Headed away there by Krivokapic. Sean McSkimming's header. Barnes sure to lose out in that challenge with McLaren. The ball in the air. Here's Roddy, who's very quick indeed on the left-hand side. He breaks across there. Ian Ferguson showing his displeasure. That free kick being awarded against him. Another injury-troubled player. McKinnon trying to make progress. Alexei Mikhailichenko's presence over there on the far side might pin McKinnon back rather more than normal, Terry.
Well, it might do, but I'd just be a bit concerned if I was Walter Smith that Mikhailichenko's not left with McKinnon all the time to try and block his runs if Rangers do get stretched on their left-hand side. Mikhailichenko's not the quickest of people, with all due respect, and McKinnon likes to attack and get down that left flank, so we could see a bit of a battle between these two.
McLaren playing it along, using the pace of Jury. That's young Greg Denham tidying up. Now Krivokapic. Taking the ball there off Barnes. Almost caused a problem for Richard Goff. Tidying up work completed by McLaren. It's good play by Ferguson. Miller showing his two-footedness with a quick pass to Laudrup. David Robertson outside him. Shooting chance that for Charlie Miller. Well, capable of doing a lot of damage in the opposing penalty box. He's only scored twice this season for Rangers, but capable, you would think, a lot more than that.
Well, it's well worth the strike really, because Laudrup plays the ball in here. Good tackle by Krivokapic. The ball bounces loose, and Charlie Miller's first thought really is to have a pop a goal. And early stages, well worth your pop. And having seen Scott Howie put a goal kick into touch and squash the back pass, he might do well to try and test the keeper out even more.
Confident play by McLaren. Gorham looked lively. There's a bit of pace up front for Motherwell with Barnes and Roddy. Push by Ferguson into McSkimming. Sean McSkimming, a B international for Scotland. The offside flag up against Roddy. Andy Roddy, of course, very anxious indeed to break his scoring duck as a Motherwell player. Cost £150,000 from Aberdeen just over a year ago. Still to find a net in his new club's colours. Well, Scott Howie will feel better after that clearance, I think. Lambert trying to get on the ball there in the midfield, and well, they really do need Paul Lambert's kind of passing and control in the middle of the field.
Well, he's a good player. We saw in the previous game against Hearts, he's unlucky not to score from a great volley onto the far post, and he's one of the players that does get forward, likes to build up attacks, and can play the left-hand side or right-hand side of midfield. Motherwell started the better off, picking the scraps up better in midfield, and he knockdowns, Lambert in particular, and Billy Davis getting hold of the ball a little bit too much for Walter Smith's hopes, I would think. He'll be just concerned just to get Brian Laudrup on the ball a little bit more.
As Jury to Laudrup. Led long by McSkimming, looking for a chase there from Andy Roddy. Now Rob McKinnon pushing forward here, marking Alexei Mikhailchenko. Jury with Martin, two very powerful players. The throw goes to Motherwell. Well, Jury's been a very important servant to Rangers since he arrived from Tottenham, playing in midfield, wide on each flank and through the middle.
You know, he's one of these players that when he gets hold of the ball and runs with it, he runs very quickly with the ball and can, with the upper body strength as well, can shrug off challenges quite comfortably. He's one of these players that can play in a variety of positions, and you know, when you're playing in a team that, especially Rangers, have had a lot of injuries, he's a great asset to the side.
McSkimming didn't control that the way he wanted. McKinnon stepped in. Once again, Motherwell building from the back. Krivokapic always wants the ball played to feet. Martin to Davis. Good running by Eddie May, but that's intercepted by Goran Petric, and May's out of position now. This is Jury. Supported well by McInnes. McInnes did well again, closing down Martin. Here's Charlie Miller. Krivokapic getting back. Superb tackle by Krivokapic. 36 years old, but still outstanding defender, Krivokapic. Davis on the break now. Trampled down there by Ferguson. Davis looking there towards the referee for some help. Beautifully taken by Charlie Miller, but the dramatic fall did not impress referee McCluskey. Here's Brian Martin now. Little dummy to away from Loudrup. Should be the other way around. Denham, 19-year-old. It's his 5th start for Motherwell in the first team. A couple of appearances as substitute before that. Headed away by McLaren. This is Miller. McInnes. Off to McLaren. Busy work up front by the Motherwell front two, Bonds and Roddy, giving the Rangers defence no peace when they're in possession. Goff. Mikhailchenko's found space. He can be dangerous here. Good ball wide for Robertson. Good recovery there by Eddie Mayo. Lost his footing there. Signs perhaps that things are firming up out there, Terry, with the temperature dropping rapidly.
Yes, possibly the pitch itself. We had a walk on it before the game. It's very bumpy.
Long throw from David Robertson. It's back now with Charlie Miller. Well, appeals a handball against Miller. Waved aside. Confident play by Denham. Pushing header back to his goalkeeper. But Charlie Miller again finding space. Charlie Miller has been very heavily involved in the opening spell in the match. Goff invited to play it short to Ferguson. Loudrup is going to give that roving commission. He's dropping off very deep to try to become involved. Look at the work being done here by the Motherwell front two. Now Loudrup. Good cover provided by Martin, but Lambert's backtracking efforts helped. Martin's timing was good in the challenge. Good long throw again, very dangerous indeed. Goff was there, so was Jury. Good challenge by Petric, a knock in the head there. Petric and Burns clashed. Both players appear to be all right. Here's May, very determined, linking with Burns. Now McKinnon. This is Roddy under pressure from Mikhailchenko. Greg Denham again. McKinnon. That's very hopeful by Denham against the Rangers defence. Petric clears up, and this cute header from goal. Amazing number of left-sided players, natural left-sided players in this Motherwell side. Here's one of them, Greg Denham. Here's another, Billy Davis. Now Lambert. Lost control there in the middle of the field. That's unusual for Paul Lambert. Became an internationalist in Japan last summer. Laudrup. Good positioning by McInnes. That's for Ferguson. Laudrup again. Scott Howe has to win that from Motherwell. He does so confidently. And the player making a challenge remarkably was David Robertson.
It's quite amazing, really. Laudrup and Mikalichenko got on the ball a lot more, posing problems, but Scott Howe will be pleased after a bit of a shaky start to come and grab that ball. A good take by the big man.
Foul by Miller on May. Here's Martin. Settling in process for Motherwell, continuing. He's skimming up well to that, slightly mistimed. Here's Billy Davis. Eddie May supporting. Great chance on here for Motherwell. There's Lambert. Great save from Godham. Well, a gap opened up in the Rangers box.
There's a great ball in by Eddie May. Paul Lambert takes it well on his right foot. Great shot, and Andy Gorham there just gets one hand to it. Luckily for Andy Gorham away, the ball bounces down, but you see it from behind the goal. Gets his hand down well. Big hand, strong hand. Ball bounces up and catches it at the second attempt. But a great save by Andy Gorham kept Rangers in the game then.
Very important save by Godham. And I wonder what thoughts are going through the mind of Alec McLeish on the Motherwell bench. Such difficulties in finding the net in recent matches, and that was a golden opportunity, and Lambert did nothing wrong. This is Davis. May caught in two minds, I think. Well timed by Martin. Here's May again. Lambert in good position, wide on the right. That's Barnes. Well tackled by Goff. For the Motherwell supporters getting something to cheer now. But a good little spell this.
Yeah, really good spell by Motherwell. They're really getting the ball into the Rangers box quite a few occasions, low and high. Rangers haven't been able to clear their lines, and the Laudrup could have got the ball and took it away, but Brian Martin won the ball back, and now they have a corner and a chance for another left-footed player to Billy Davis to whip this ball in.
Well, won by McLaren to the near post. The build-up begins with Krivokovic. Roddy to May. The run's made by Burns. He's onside. Difficult ball to control at the corner flag. Frustration on the face of the Motherwell youngster. He's the only player to score for Motherwell in the last 8 matches. He scored the only 2 goals they've scored. Alec Burns. That's good play again from Motherwell. Eddie May under severe pressure there from McInnes. Martin did well against Jury. Good control shown by McKinnon. Robbed though by Mikalichenko. Strong challenge by Ferguson. Good play. Mikalichenko. Giving it away. Now Davis breaks for Motherwell. Space over to the far side, occupied only by McKinnon from Motherwell. The pass came from Lambert. Like skimming. McKinnon once again. Lambert wants to be involved. Good running by Martin. Burns good at turning at the edge of the box. Back it goes to Martin. And the promising move comes to an end, but Motherwell playing some good possession play.
Well, Motherwell always played good possession play. It's that final ball into the box. We talked about this before when Motherwell played Hearts, when it was 0-0. A great game by Motherwell on that night, and Paul Lambert in particular must ban, or try and ban Sky Canvas from the games, because he had a great chance against Hearts to score. Great save by Rousset in the Hearts goal, and today a great save by Andy Gorham prevents him from scoring yet again.
So Motherwell still dominating in the middle of the field at this stage in the match. Getting good support from the back men, like Martin. Good pass from Goff. Loudon again met by Martin, who's played against them very effectively so far in the match. Now Denham. Scott Howe now. Again struggling with these clearances. Eddie May kept that in play. McInnes appeared to catch Paul Lambert there. Kumarovic calmly back to his goalkeeper. And still Lambert is down as Loudon controls the ball. Well, it was a head knock. It didn't merit a quick response from the referee.
Well, I just think it was one of those incidents really that the ball was there to be won and both players going after the ball. Sometimes you do use your arms to propel yourself and try and get as much height as you can, and sometimes your arms do catch players. We've had the incidents with Paul Gascoigne in particular in the past, but I remember playing against a certain Andy Gray, who happens to work for this station as well, and you try and play against Andy Gray, I tell you, he left a few scars on my face. So unfortunately in football, it's just one of those things that's part and parcel of the game.
So John Porteous, the physio, carries out the repair work to Paul Lambert. Well, clearly he took a bang there from Derek McInnes while the ball was in the air. He's a very important player to Motherwell, Paul Lambert. A great signing from St Mirren a couple of years ago.
There it was there, just both players, you see Derek McInnes' right arm just up there, but the ball was there to be won, and in fairness to Derek McInnes, in fairness to the referee, it was just one of those things that happens in the game.
Still possession with Goran Petric. Jury strong against Kumarovic. Good judgment shown there by Denham. Early impressions, Terry, on Greg Denham, left-sided central defender.
Well, I think he's done very well. He's got a good left foot. He's looking to get the ball forward all the time and as sharply as he can, but looks very confident, can flick the ball through his legs, and looks very comfortable on the ball, which is a feature of any player in this Motherwell side. So I've been very impressed by him so far.
Roddy's header. Here's Barnes. Well tackled by Miller. Then by McInnes. Determined play by the Rangers midfield players. No frustration there as David Robertson's pass goes astray. He apologises there to Laudrup. Walter Smith remains in the director's box for the early stage of the match. Well, that's a good turn by Miller. Well tackled there by Davis. Foul surely there. Well, possession remained with Motherwell. That's why. But if he didn't give the foul, just told Billy Davis that. Well, Denham playing it along, trying to get the ball beyond the Rangers defenders, I think, to use the pace of Barnes and Roddy. They haven't allowed much space though at the back there, Terry. They're defending quite deep.
Yes, they're defending quite deep, but they've had one chance. Motherwell, Paul Lambert's chance really should have been in the back of the net. So they've had one chance, and really the front two, Burns and Roddy, haven't been able to get any change out of the Rangers back three so far. But it took a midfield player to come through, and a good ball from Eddie May so far. But Walter Smith will be disappointed with the Rangers' start, I think, so far. They haven't really got the ball down and past as much as they can, and they haven't been able to get lined up on the ball in really advanced positions.
Well, here's Ian Ferguson. Laudrup. Things like that were coming off last season. Good running there by Rob McKinnon. Mikalichenko running with him. That's good play by McKinnon. And a very good cross. Too far out for Gorham. It was begging for an attacking player to come onto that.
Well, that was the position we said we talked about could be a bit of a problem for Rangers. Mikalichenko having to trap Rob McKinnon down that left-hand side. Good cross, and Petric having to concede the corner.
That's Paul Lambert. McKinnon again playing it wide. Lambert is offside. Disappointment there for Motherwell. Very interesting indeed, the possession going Motherwell's way so far. I think that bears out what we think we've been watching, Terry.
Well, the fact is that Motherwell have had the possession, they've had the better territorial advantage, but that final ball has always been poor.
Charlie Miller's pass, looking a louder with a run. Eddie May squabbling the ball away, giving Rangers an opportunity here to put some pressure on through this long throw from Robertson. Perhaps the longest in the country. That's why Goff was up. McLaren and Petric left at the back as Goff went into the box for that throw. Head flick on from Mikalichenko, chased there willingly by Jury. Followed by Dennever. A little bit more space perhaps than he might have done. He's running well though. Good play by the youngster. Loudrup. Hustled all the time as soon as he gets possession. This time it's Roddy doing the backtracking work. No way through there against Eddie May. Nimble feet shown there by Roddy. Throw goes to Motherwell. Andy Roddy, a major enigma really, Terry, for Motherwell. Showed so much promise at Aberdeen early in his career.
Well, he played on the left-hand side for Aberdeen, but playing predominantly up front with all the injuries that have occurred to Dougie Arnott and to Tommy Coyne, but still excitable, still pacey, still got a lot to learn in the game, but still very keen and eager to work for his boss, so you can't ask for much more than 100% honesty and 100% endeavour.
Well, Charlie Miller. Waiting that initial challenge very well indeed. Now it's with Loudrup again, seeing more of the ball. That's a worry for Motherwell. Well, there's the old calming figure, Kubokovic, sorting that out. But Loudrup's influence becoming greater in the play.
Well, he's getting the ball, but not really getting the ball in really advanced positions, and you know, I'd like him to get a lot more. I mean, I'm sure Wallace-Smith would as well, round about the edge of the penalty area for Rangers against the Motherwell back four and back three, but he hasn't been able to do that, and Rangers really technically still only have Gordon Jury in the box, so they you know, even if he does supply the crosses to the far post, there's only Jury there, and then Mikalichenko still out wide on the right.
Forward Gordon Jury, free kick here to Rangers, and this is dangerous, all right. Goff goes forward, Petric goes forward. Goff has scored 4 times this season, Petric only once. Mikalichenko. Well, Petric complaining. I think he was pushed there.
I wonder if Gordon Petric swears in Scottish or does he swear in his native tongue, but I think he was just claiming he was pushed. Any good centre-half, Brian Martin was marking him in particular, any ball that's on, you know that you're the last pair jumping for the ball, you do tend to like leave your body in the way and make sure the ball runs out for a goal kick, and I think he just felt he was just being shoved out of the way by Brian Martin, but if he was, then Brian Martin did his job very, very well.
This is McSkimming. McLaren usually very sure-footed with these passes. Here's Davis. Advantage applied there. Miller was certainly fouled. Now Loudrup crossing to the right. Full of menace. Tripped there by McSkimming. It'll be the first booking in the match. Brian Loudrup clearly unhappy about that. Rob McKinnon tries to plead his teammate's case in vain. So the yellow card for short McSkimming. Well,
definite booking as far as I'm concerned. Laudrup was just going past him there. He is in the right of the picture, just trying to get back, and then just clips his heels there, and the referee has no alternative but to book him. A needless foul, because as we see, there's two players around Brian Laudrup when he had the ball, so no need really to leave your foot there. Now he's really on a knife edge for the rest of the game.
No, that's about the earlier foul, which was allowed to pass because the advantage rule was applied. Miller and Davis clashed. That's what the referee's trying to sort out now.
Good refereeing, really. Good refereeing.
Laudrup with a free kick. Martin marking Goff very effectively. They did again together. They're regretting all that bounce, I think. Here's Derek McInnes. Good challenge by May. Confident play from the defenceman, although that's quite remarkable in that tight corner. This is Davis, so determined. Former Rangers player, that's where he started his career. Miller wins it back. Helped here by Robertson. Suddenly the pace of the match is lifted. McInnes looking to run the ball as much as he can. He's been impressive in his work rate in that Rangers midfield. Good hustling defending though by Motherwell in the middle of the field, not allowing Rangers time to build up passing movements. Here's Petric trying again. Mikhailichenko's crossed to the left. Laudrup now the right. Leaving Rob McKinnon here. And the run made by Jury. He thought he was called by Martin. Exchange of words there. Referee McCluskey will have to watch that. These two players getting a bit irate.
Here's the pass from Laudrup, and you can see Brian Martin there. You can see his left hand just holding back Gordon Durie. Now, whether Durie was offside, I'm not too sure. But the incident unnoticed by Jim McCluskey. But as far as Gordon Durie was concerned, he was pulled back, and we could just about see Brian Martin's left hand. So probably Gordon Durie did have a bit of a case.
Certainly not at all pleased with the back shot from Martin afterwards.
Jolly just proves when Brian Laudrup gets hold of the ball and runs at the Motherwell defence that doors seem to open, and a good ball inside to Gordon Durie, and that could have been a penalty, but the referee didn't quite see it.
Strong challenge by Robertson. Brian Martin with this throw. His career a very slow start. He was with Albion Rovers and Stennismuir, and then failed there. Went back junior before reviving his career again through Falkirk and St Mirren to Motherwell and then Scotland. Here's Laudrup again. Now Gordon Durie. Well, now Gordon Durie getting a little bit heated here. Saw Brian Martin there and thought about a rash tackle, I think. With Charlie Miller. That was a good chance. He's been in the one or two knockdowns there at the edge of the area tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Good long throw again. Richard Goff is the man in the penalty area. Two Motherwell players against Richard Goff. The ball bounces down for Charlie Miller. Can't quite keep the ball down, but that's about the third chance. You're right, Jock. It's about the third chance he's had when the ball's dropped into him round about the edge of the penalty, around about 20 yards, 18 yards out, and hasn't been able to really get a decent shot on target.
Goff on his own. Tackled well by McSkimming. There are signs though the Rangers are just taking a grip in the game. Motherwell certainly worked very hard at the start, but an indication here that Rangers are taking some control. Here's Ian Ferguson. Now Petric. This time the free kick's given. The challenge by Martin and Miller. I think we can take it. He doesn't agree with the referee's verdict.
You've got to be careful when the ball's played in like this, not to go too tight to the player, and Brian Martin just goes too tight, really. You can't win the ball there. If you're trying to get your legs around a player, he'll give free kicks away, and Brian Laudrup on the ball now. It's a dangerous situation for Motherwell.
Again, Goff and Petric in the area. Bad ball by Laudrup. Here's McInnes. Asking a lot of Mikhailichenko. Well, the last pass around the box on both sides hasn't been too effective yet.
No, it's that final ball again, Jock. It seemed to be a bit of a scourge of Motherwell and Fir Park whenever we come in. It's that final pass into the box, and Brian Lodge up there with a chance to put a decent ball into the penalty area, hits the first defender, and that's the sort of thing that schoolboys mustn't do. Try and beat that first defender, try and give your forwards and defenders who have gone up a chance to score a goal.
Cross goes Denham. Headed on by Mikhailchenko. This is Jury. This time marked by Denham. Perhaps just as well. Lambert's clearance straight to McInnes. Sean McSkimming for Motherwell. Couldn't get that beyond McLaren. No, that's the problem for Motherwell. They can't get forward. For the moment, McInnes. McKinnon there ahead of Ian Ferguson. That's Scott harmlessly behind. Ian Ferguson not too happy about that.
Ian Ferguson's never too happy anyway at the best of times, but I think it's just the case. If we'll see how many attempts we've had on goal in a minute, and to see how the teams have had efforts on goal. Yeah, Motherwell have 1 attempt, Rangers 4. Rangers really had a lot of efforts wide. Motherwell had the best chance of the game when it came to Paul Lambert and good save by Andy Gorham. So on chances on target, Motherwell should be 1-0 up.
Up goes Goff. Jury looking for Laudrup. The interception made by Denham. That's Martin. Barnes trying to inconvenience Petric here. Laudrup against Denham. Showing his strength as well as his skill there. And back comes McSkimming. Well, the referee said nothing wrong there. Pivokovic. Well, Jim McCluskey, the referee, is one who is renowned for wanting the game to flow. He doesn't like to give free kicks needlessly.
No, I think he's done very well. I think he's tried to have a word with players. He did with Charlie Miller and Billy Davis about incidents. He's tried to let the game flow. I think he's done exceptionally well. Brian Laudrup in particular, not been too happy with 1 or 2 challenges, and the crowd are booing Brian Laudrup for the fact that he was booked when Sean McSkimming came in. No real fault of Brian Laudrup's, but at the end of the day, he is getting a bit tired. There's a few challenges going in. The crowd are starting to warm up to 1 or 2 tackles, and that's the noise.
Here's Roddy. Clashing in with Goff at the edge of the area. Bit of damage inflicted on the Rangers captain. Back on his feet though. This is Martin. Barnes. Free kick there. Ferguson the culprit. Another chance here for Motherwell.
As you see, just the in Ferguson's legs just hang there. He just tackled on the wrong side, like Brian Martin at the other end. You can't get the wrong side of players and hope to win the ball. In this case now, we're about, 25, 30 yards away from goal there, right in the centre. Chance for some of these left-footed players, possibly to bend one in the top corner.
Well, Motherwell worked so hard at training. Well, in the situations like this, Paul Lambert takes charge. He's over the ball. Could be Davis, it could be McKinnon for power. Lambert over the ball. May leave it to Davis. He may play it square. There's Davis. Clearance came from Robertson. Here's Martin. No offside. Motherwell very careful in attack. Slashed away there by Ian Ferguson, and Motherwell still now have the chance to put pressure on. Well, Motherwell went through a leading spell there for a short time, but they're back in business here, it would appear. Confidence back up. Roddy. Calling Mikhailchenko. Well, Roddy tried to go through a gap, but suddenly wasn't there.
Yeah, I think he had the ball there, and he tried to go back in outside. I think he was in a good position, could have cut inside and had a go at the Rangers defenders, but chose to go on the outside, possibly because he's played a lot of his games in the past on that flank position, and just a case of really not trying to beat too many people, just trying to get a ball into the box and hope his midfield players have managed to fill his role.
Pivokovic forward, that's McInnes with a very good header, and Martin read it very impressively from Motherwell. Martin had to hurry there, Roddy putting on the pressure. Krivokapic to Lambert. Krivokapic. Foul there, surely, but the referee waves play again. He loves to play that advantage rule. Goff's header, strong enough to force Roddy to turn back. Great running by McKinnon. And May just let it reach there. Good covering by Robertson. The throw is given. Well, the Motherwell supporters undoubtedly encouraged by this first half performance. With McKinnon against Mikhalichenko. Goff at full stretch. That was Laudrup. Good play by Denham. Roddy coming short. Very good turn. Fouled over Petric. Good bit of skill there from Andy Roddy.
Yes, once again, good bit of skill there. Gordon Petrie's not quite reading that excellent bit of play by Andy Roddy. Gives away the foul and the chance for Motherwell to get the ball in the box.
Davis there playing it long, and once again, Motherwell can make nothing of that. Sean McSkimming attacking the ball in the air. And he got in trouble only once so far in the match by Paul Lambert, bringing off an outstanding save. That's a feature of his play, a long period of activity, and then an excellent save.
Well, I think it's a feature of any Rangers goalkeeper, the fact that he's not called into play very often in the game, but when he does, he has to produce very, very good saves, and Andy Goram's concentration level is very, very high.
There's Jury, Laudrup's gone through the middle. Here's Miller. Goff has come from the back. That's good play. Now McInnes. Well, Greg Denham again showing remarkable confidence for one so young. He's got a cushion-headed pass back, then a chested pass back.
He does really well there on the far post, doesn't panic. He knows no one's around him. Even knows where the keeper is. The keeper's probably gone for a bobble there, but manages to cushion the ball down so it doesn't go into goal.
McLaren lashing the ball upfield. There's Denham again. Youngest player in the field with Charlie Miller. Two of them are just 19. Miller again, great pass. Here's Robertson. First goes Brian Martin once again.
Yes, Brian Martin's done ever so well, I think, tonight. He's been at the hub of breaking up the Rangers' attacks. He's been up good in the air, able to get the ball forward, and at the back, really, they seem to be quite confident and quite assured.
Laudrup taking on Roddy. It's a very good cross. Attacked superbly there by Richard Goff. That was a chance by Goff standards.
That's what Rangers need. Brian Laudrup getting to the byline here. Whips in a good ball left foot, a ball that players can attack. Richard Goff attacks it, but also Motherwell managed. I think it was Greg Denham actually put off Richard Goff in the header, but did just enough so Richard Goff couldn't quite get the header on target. But Rangers need Brian Laudrup in particular to get to that byline and get those sort of crosses into the box.
Goff again doing well defensively this time. That's McInnes. Now Robertson. Couldn't play it up the line for Jury. Well, the service to front men really hasn't been of real quality so far tonight.
No, it hasn't been of real quality. I think Andy Roddy and Alex Burns have worked very, very hard on the Rangers' back three. To their supply to the front men has been quite poor, really, and very hurried, and they've had to knock in high service. But it's been that midfield area has been the key for me. Has been scrapping in there, and Ferguson in particular is on the ball now. He's really hustled about Billy Davis, Sean Misgiving, who's got booked. I mean, there's been a real engine room in there.
Krivokapic calmly back. The father figure there at the back, looking after young Greg Denham, and Denham learning a great deal, of no doubt, beside this 36-year-old former Yugoslav with Red Star Belgrade. An attempt by Martin there to pick out Alec Burns forward, didn't come off. Well, I missed out one club on Brian Martin's CV. That was Hamilton Accies. He's been around the houses really to make it at this level. Now 32 years old. Here's Mikhalichenko. Load up on his own. Faced by Denham. Major test for the youngster, this. And once again, it's Martin on the defensive beat from Motherwell inside the box. Well, that was a big test for Greg Denham. Brian Laudrup taking him on the right-hand side. If Brian Laudrup comes inside him and then goes on the outside, goes past him, gives a great ball into the box, but there's Mr. Reliable, Brian Martin, heading it away for a corner. So young Denham should be consoled with the fact that some top-class defenders have failed to halt Laudrup in that position. Long before Denham trial, that's good running by Burns. The cover provided by McLaren. Here's Mikhailichenko. Here's Miller, hustled by Lambert. Mikhailichenko's return pass. Lambert did well to match the run. Look at the strength here of Miller. And the determination of Lambert. These two very good young players together, and Paul Lambert's had a bit of a quieter into this first half. Started off like a house on fire, got a bang on the head, and hasn't really seen much of him in the game. But Charlie Miller's been in the injury room in midfield, been working hard, having shots off target in the box, but he still kept going. Well, that's as good as a corner kick. The header by Goff. David Robertson again with that long throw launched into the area. Goff came close. Once again, it's a huge long throw from David Robertson. Richard Goff gets a good header on target. Scott Harry, a comfortable save in the end, but the signs are there. I mean, that's been about the third or fourth long throw from that side that Richard Goff's been able to get on the end of. His knockdowns haven't gone to anyone in particular, and you know, that time his effort was well saved by Scott Harry. But Motherwell would obviously try and in the second half, especially try and nullify that threat from that long throw. David Robertson losing out here, getting into something of a Finkel. Once again, the man who wins it back is Charlie Miller for Rangers. So the closing stages of tensely fought first half. Paul Lambert in possession again. This is Burns. It was held by McInnes, but kept possession. Pivokovic. Under severe pressure there from Ferguson. Well, they'll have the throw though, and no matter what, Pivokovic refuses simply to kick the ball upfield. Here he goes again. Randy Gordon being invited to play the ball long from his own box here. This is Laudrup again, now Mikhailichenko. Ferguson's pass, looking for Laudrup again. Good build-up play from Rangers. Sean McSkimming, the challenging play from Motherwell. Laudrup turns him. The header away was by McKinnon. Well, certainly defending, but good wing play again from Laudrup. Yeah, it's quite ominous from Motherwell's point of view when Laudrup's getting the ball. He's got a lot of the ball more towards the end of this first half now, with just about a minute, 2 minutes to go, but he's had 3 or 4 good runs down both flanks, and they've got to try and stop that threat. A key point in the game, this. Well, all determined to remain on level terms before the interval, and Beatrix now looks for Laudrup. Potential problem here. Well, Lambert leaned in well there. That made a difference. Experienced play by Paul Lambert, preventing Laudrup getting a clear chance to shoot for goal. As you see, Paul Lambert, number 7, and also Billy Davis coming in the left-hand side. Billy Davis coming in there, forcing Brian Laudrup to hurry up the shot and consequently putting the ball wide. Well, which manager will be happier, do you think, at this stage, Terry? Well, I don't think any manager will be happy, to be honest. I think they'll just be relatively pleased. Walter will be relatively pleased. Still chewing away, of course, as he invariably does, but he'll be relatively happy with the way things have gone. He knows that Rangers can and should play better. If Laudrup can get hold of the ball a lot more. Chance for Mikhailichenko, that's awkward. The deflection gives a corner kick. Motherwell living dangerously just before half-time. Here's Mikhailichenko's snapshot, gets a deflection, I think off Greg Denham, and just floats past. But apparently on Saturday in the reserve match, he hit a shot which was going miles wide of the goal, got a wicked deflection and went in, and he went on to complete his hat-trick. So
He's on that shoot on side policy.
Well, Motherwell, the first 2 corner kicks in the match, they're Rangers putting on the pressure. Well, barely 10 yards away, surely, Paul Lambert. Mikalichenko thought he was guilty of handball. Goff waits again at the edge of the penalty area. Martin's his marker. And again, scrambled off the line. Well, Billy Davies not at all happy with the marking there. Lovely corner by Mikalichenko, headed in here. I think it's friggin' Ferguson and Gordon Jury there just can't quite get the end of it. Lovely ball in. Ian Ferguson's head down here. Gordon Jury just inches away from it. Billy Davies there just hooking it away for a corner. Mikalichenko again with the end swinger. That was very dangerous again. Well, Motherwell hanging on grimly here towards half-time. Well, we've seen the value of a player on the post, but this time no one prepared to take responsibility.
Yes, everybody missing it there, and I think it was Sean McSkimming in the end that just let the ball go. Couldn't quite touch it, otherwise it would have gone for an own goal. But Rangers have so many players in the box, so many players capable of getting up and winning balls, and so it's a case of Motherwell, who do they play against?
So the half-time whistle, and no scoring, but Paul Lambert perhaps came closest for Motherwell, certainly. The next in control and shot, which brought him a great save from Andy Gordon. But Brian Laudrup's improving play throughout the match, ominous as far as Motherwell are concerned. They've been hanging on grimly towards half-time as a balance of play switched. But at half-time at Falkirk Park, it's Motherwell 0, Rangers 0.
And that's just Christmas. There's a good deal more over the new year, including, of course, on January the 3rd, Charlie, the Old Firm, Celtic against Rangers.
Yep, could become now one of the most important games of this campaign. Going back to Parkhead, where Rangers have got a particularly good record, and there could be a lot at stake for both clubs in that game.
They won't be too happy at the moment, will they, Rangers?
No, I don't think they should be, because they've played okay, but they've not really taken the game enough to Motherwell, and I think we've only seen flashes of Rangers yet, but I still think that they'll go and score a couple of goals.
Having said that, full marks to the well, eh?
Yeah, they battled down well, they played well, they just lacked a little bit of penetration. They could really do with Motherwell scoring first. I think that would really help the game.
OK, let's go back and rejoin Terry Butcher and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, welcome back to Falkirk Park. No change in either line-up at the interval. So the sides will continue the battle, which developed very interestingly through that first half, Terry, with Rangers coming much more into the game as it wore on, looking more and more dangerous.
Yes, it did look more and more ominous for Motherwell. That Laudrup in particular was getting on the ball, but they did have their best chance of the game through Paul Lambert, and they'll probably, Paul Lambert in particular, probably rue the opportunity, or rue that he didn't score. And had he scored, then confidence would have soared throughout that Motherwell side, but he didn't, and they're still on level terms, and Rangers really just probably slightly ahead on points.
So Jury and Laudrup get us underway for this second half. And it's a very important opening phase in that second period, because Motherwell did appear to lose their way rather towards half-time. They were very anxious to get back into the match for the start of the second half. Charlie Miller, very influential for Rangers in the first half. So here's Andy Roddy now, turning well. Shackle from behind by McInnes. Now Davis. Sean McSkimming has Lambert ahead. Foul committed there by Derek McInnes. Suggesting there the referee McCluskey that he won the ball, but to do so he had to foul Paul Lambert. But the problem here is there's no target for Billy Davies. Greg Denham is trying to change that. He's gone into the area. Ball not accurate enough to trouble Rangers defence. Here's Eddie May. Now Lambert. Sure what the intention was there. The back killer from Laudrup goes wrong, and Motherwell can build again. May's cross. Denham has stayed forward. This is McKinnon. Now McSkimming. Sean McSkimming has been troubled by injury since his big transfer from Kilmarnock. Started his career at Dundee. Going on there looking at Mikalichenko. Denham to Krivokapic. Makes space for himself so well. This is Martin. Now Roddy going in behind the Rangers defence. And Alan McLaren kept cool. Oh, had Roddy been able to collect that on the drop first up, he had a great chance to score. McLaren shaking his head there. He's not happy with his positioning, I think. Now Paul Lambert with the corner. Denham staying forward again. Not appreciating Petrich's attention. And Roddy still unable to test Andy Gorham. Having a spectacular finish there on the volley. But the earlier chance really, Jenny, wasn't a bad one.
No, it was one long ball really that seemed to get through the whole range of defence, as proved in that game at Ibrox when I think it was Paul Lambert scored the equaliser at Ibrox when Rangers had gone ahead in the first half. One long ball, but all the pretty football that Motherwell do play. So ironic really that one long pass can cut open that Rangers defence, which it did.
There's Krivokapic. Closed down by Jury. Clearly the recognition is obvious from Alec McLeish about the lack of aerial power whenever Motherwell get forward. That's why Greg Denham has been given some licence to join the attack at set pieces particularly. Eddie May. Roddy looking for Barnes, who slipped from the tongue. It's well struck by McLaren to Robertson. There's Denham. McInnes did just enough. McLaren forced to hurry by Roddy. Came off Rob McKinnon. Here's Mikhailchenko, who remains the great enigma at Ibrox. Full of skill and ability, Mikhailchenko, without delivering quite enough, I reckon. Certainly not enough to get a regular place to the starting lineup. That's a good interception by Lambert from Goff's pass. The run was made there by Roddy. Hooked to safety by McLaren. It's been a very brisk start this from Motherwell. McLaren did well. Roddy looked menacing. This is Denham. Oh, Paul Lambert found space between Petrich and Robertson. The kind of ball which really shouldn't trouble the Rangers defence.
No, but once again, Greg Denham was impressed with enormously. Lovely ball to the far post. Andy Gorham can't come out, and Paul Lambert can't quite get over the top of it. Consequently, edged the ball over the bar. But one long ball, as we've seen before, seemed to split the Rangers defenders. They left it to each other. Paul Lambert stole in on that far post, and unlucky really not to get the header down on target.
Denham again under pressure, this time from Jury. It's McKinnon. McLaren will take the throw. Mikhailchenko finds Ferguson. Good play by McLaren. Mikhailchenko has Ferguson available on the right. Good play by Martin. The judgment there was terrific. And Martin again did just enough to play it away from Laudrup. As Krivokapic. McInnes using Goff. Good turn by Miller. Once again the tackle, a vital one made by Martin. Ball on Billy Davis. Charlie Miller.
Yeah, scored it. Billy Davis just goes down here and just see Charlie Miller coming in. Bit of an untidy challenge, but Billy Davis on the floor already. Just typical of the start that Motherwell have made, eager to every ball. Probably had a bit of a roasting from Alec McLeish at half-time to say get hold of that ball a lot more and play with a lot more confidence. And I'm sure Alec McLeish will be pleased with the way they've started the second half, pleased with the appetite they've shown, and pleased with the way that a lot of these influential players, Paul Lambert in particular, have got hold of the ball.
Good understanding there in defence by Motherwell also to leave Jury well offside, just inside the Motherwell half. Trying to play it long, that's very unusual for him. McKinnon. space not there for McKinnon on the flank. Started his career at Newcastle United. Then came to Motherwell via Hartlepool United. Great acquisition for Motherwell. Mikalichenko. The run is made by Charlie Miller. That's very off, but up goes Jury. Scott Howie caught out there and relieved to see the ball come off the crossbar. It's a fine lead by Jury. Great play by Mikalichenko. Lovely ball to the far post. Charlie Miller here can't. Across the area, left foot. Gordon Jury's 3 defenders around. They leave it to each other. Good lead by Gordon Jury. Good header off the crossbar. And then it's just tidied up there. Kvakovic tidies it up for a corner, but good play by Mikalichenko. It's his corner kick. Arthur wins it. Not a bad effort by Ferguson. Snatched first time volley. Well, Gordon Jury coming very close, and it was a superb leap that by Jury. There's a hook ball back really up in the air. Keeper can't come for it, and you see the defenders just underneath the ball. Brian Martin in particular. Good leap by Gordon Jury. Smacked against the crossbar. Closest yet for Rangers. Good play by Barnes. Ferguson tangling there with Davis. Big skimming shot. That's lowered up with Mikalichenko. These two playing together now on the near side. Good play by Denham. Deflection indicated by the linesman. Alec Burns had no support inside there. Goff had all the time in the world. Well, that really was a very good chance for Rangers, and I don't think chances will come too frequently against this very well drilled Motherwell defence. Burns with a layoff. That's Roddy. Well, once again, nothing going right up front for Motherwell. Alec Burns has taken a knock. He's on the ground as Miller releases Mikalichenko. Alec Burns is on the ground. The referee will look for a chance to stop the play, I think. Miller to Robertson. That's McInnes with a dummy. Looking for the return. Good defending again by Denham. Excellent play by the young defender. McKinnon keeping the ball in play, surprisingly, and Alan McLaren sorts that out. So, time for attention here for Alec Burns. Well, the last thing Alec McLeish requires is the loss through injury of another striker. Without Arnott, without Coyne, without John Henry with a knee injury. And now Alec Burns has a problem. I think he just got a bit of a dig in the ribs there. He's shaking his head there. Doesn't look good, but sure once he gets on his feet, I'm sure he'll be determined to battle on and to play on. I think McLeish is probably looking the other way at the moment. Just doesn't really want to acknowledge the fact that his striker's down. He don't look probably. Well, he's in pain still, but he's going to continue at least for the moment. Here comes in with the ball now. Slide into him then. Yes, actually gets struck in the stomach by Andy Roddy's ball, so nothing serious, and he'll just be a bit winded, that's all. As Goff looking for Mikalichenko. Ferguson and McKinnon clash. The result is a throw to Rangers. Uncompromising in the extreme, Ian Ferguson. Well, a strange lack of urgency here about this throw. McLaren to Mikalichenko. Julie did well. Skimming doing some good defensive work. Martin pumping the ball long downfield. Goff wins this comfortably. Well, Jordan didn't fancy that too much, bouncing awkwardly towards him. Good pass by McLaren. Ferguson Ferguson, looking at the pace of Laudrup. Far post cross, looking for Robertson. Here's Billy Davis. Now Barnes, see if he has recovered from that injury. It appears to be the case. Giving it away though to Mikhailchenko. Rangers could punish that header. Here's Jury. Oh, that's good play by Jury. Oh, a wonderful save from Howie. Wow, what relief there will be in the Motherwell ranks. We thought this was the first goal there. Lovely strike by Gordon Dury and a breathtaking one-handed save by Scott Howie. Gordon Dury did ever so well to work the position over in the box. Lovely left-footed strike. Great save from the keeper. Here's Mikhailchenko. Again, a very good block by McKinnon on Miller. Motherwell defending desperately there. Alec Burns relieved, I'm sure, to see that save by Scott Howie. It really was outstanding. Lovely movement by Rangers. Good ball inside. We're going to shoot right foot, checks inside left foot, curls the ball towards the top corner, and you can see him Durant with his hands up. Up goes Goff. Chance for Laudrup. Couldn't have been closer. And there was no answer to that. Had it been on target. Well, Rangers again stepping up the pace. Good corner to the far post. Richard Goff again. The ball comes down off McKinnon. Lovely strike right footed, kept the ball down. Lesson for any schoolboy. Keeps the ball down. Unfortunately for Brian Laudrup, didn't quite hit the target. Disappointment for Laudrup. Scorer of only 2 goals this season for Rangers. Missed a number of matches through injury, of course. Up goes Petric. Jury posing problems now for the Motherwell defence. One good header, one good left-foot shot. Getting there first. That's McKinnon. Now Roddy. Davis. Off goes Barnes. Good running by the youngster up front. McLaren hounding him. Well, the momentum of the attack was lost there, but it looked promising for a moment. So Rob McKinnon now with the throw, and plenty of movement around. Good play by Mikhailchenko. Covering player there is Paul Lambert. His jersey was held by Mikhailchenko clearly. Mikhailchenko will be in trouble here, I think, for refusing to retreat quickly enough. Paul Lambert expressing his anger. Denham switches the play. Here's Martin. Charged down well by Miller. Martin had to do the recovery work again with a fine tackle on Laudrup. And I reckon that Brian Martin must have been more good tackler than Brian Laudrup in this match tonight than many a defender has for a while. Yes, he's played very well. He's been on the ground to match him in pace of thought as well as strength and everything else. So he's had an outstanding game so far, Brian Martin. That's terrific anticipation. Shown there by Miodrag Krivokapic to retrieve his own header. It allows Lambert to break. Bonds. He's done it well against Goff. This is promising for Motherwell. And a corner kick conceded happily there by Ian Ferguson. That's good play by Barnes. Yeah, for the first time in the game he goes wide. Richard Goff thinks he's got him on the touchline, turns inside. Richard Goff can't quite get him now. He looks across so he can drill a ball across the face of the box, but Ian Ferguson was there. Otherwise, Eddie May was just behind Ian Ferguson for a simple tap-in. So past the hour mark, still looking for the opening goal. Both sides stepping up their efforts in that connection, and there's Roddy. There, and Brian Martin get up so well to that. A very powerful figure in the air in both penalty boxes. And Brian Martin comes in, could have kept a great display tonight by heading that one in. Instead, heads it over, can't quite get down the pole. The 2 Rangers players there did well to get his head onto the ball, but can't quite direct it down on target. Ball come forward again with McSkimming. Tackle came from McInnes. Certainly pinned down McSkimming. In goes Denham. Terrific tackle on Laudrup. Lambert. Martin has found space again. And the offside flag was up. The offside linesman halted that move. Well, it's been played now like a real cup tie, this match. Both sides, I think, have formed the view that 1 point isn't enough. Petric. Now McInnes. Laudrup takes over. Galichenko. Good tackle there again, this time by McSkimming. Galichenko, dangerous in this position, supported well inside by Ferguson. Here's Galichenko again on his left foot. The offside flag goes up against Charlie Miller. Even though Paul Lambert completed the interception. Be right what you say, Jock, end-to-end stuff here. Galichenko coming inside. You think he's going to have a shot on his left foot, and as we can quite see, the camera angle's perfect there. Charlie Miller just run into an offside position. Probably Galichenko ruined the fact now he did make the pass and not have a crack with his left foot. And there is activity from the Rangers bench. Substitutes warming up. Robertson forward, that's Petric. Now Charlie Miller, tackled well by Lambert. Couldn't quite keep it in play. Well, there's a growing impression here that this match is perhaps absolutely crucial to Motherwell. Playing against the league leaders, the champions, and one in the league, but competing extremely effectively. And you wonder what difference it would make if they could just snatch a lead here. McLaren hustled all the way by Barnes, who gave him no time at all on the ball. Not happy with the decision. There's McLaren with a throw. That's Brian Martin. Skimming under pressure there from Ferguson. Here's Laudrup again, assessing the options ahead, and again Krivokapic makes the interception. Now Davis. Barnes peeling off well to the left again. Couldn't get the better of McLaren though. An error there by McInnes. Here's Andy Roddy. What can he do with this? He did well to set up Eddie May, but on his weaker side, the left, unable to test the keeper. Or Alan McLaren wouldn't be too pleased with Derek McInnes here. This throw in here, allowed to run by Derek McInnes, loses the ball to Andy Roddy. He then passes across the area, and then Eddie May with his a defender's shot really miles over the bar, but bit of slack play by Derek McInnes, allowing that ball to run across him in the first place. Galichenko did well. Denham and Jury to get up. Well, the goal attempts going Rangers' way, but plenty of attempts really, and it's the accuracy that's the problem, clearly. Billy Davis. Offside against Roddy. It was obvious, and he was looking along the line. Well, he's to hold back a couple of yards. That's all he had to do to have a real run at the Rangers defence. Yes, Gordon Petric just steps out there at the top of the picture, and Andy Roddy really waiting for the pass instead of running onto it. So in that situation, very easy for a defender just to step out and catch players on side. But Rangers really have had the bulk of the chances on goal as well as on target, but we're able really to get a clear-cut chance this way that Motherwell have had the clear-cut chance. You've got to say, well, Motherwell have defended very well in particular, and really have closed Rangers down at the back. Rangers 3 haven't been able to get the ball to the front men very well, or very effectively, and they have defended ever so well, Motherwell, and full credit to them. This is Charlie Miller. Galichenko strongly holding off McKinnon. It's Miller again, looking for Ferguson. That's very good defending there by Sean McSkimming. Still on his football at left back, McSkimming, and he showed his defensive qualities there, all right. Quality play, good ball here by Charlie Miller. Well taken by Ian Ferguson, look at that control. Results in the corner. As Good play by Buns. Very nimble indeed. Now taking on McLaren. Wow. Comes to an end there. Disappointingly, Andy Roddy committing that foul on McInnes. Just coming in late there, Andy Roddy. That was a forwards tackle really on Derek McInnes. Derek McInnes did well not to roll over and feign injury. Just got up, got the free kick, and looking forward to getting on the end of any knockdown. Foul count remarkably low, really. Up goes Martin, perhaps reflecting referee McCluskey's desire to keep the play flowing. Great shot by Mikalichenko, and what a superb reaction save it was from Howie. Well, I reckon Mikalichenko believed there he'd open the scoring. That's McLaren. Back with Richard Goff. Well, they're quite warming to this now in the second half. There goes Miller. Easy interception for Lambert. Davis with May. McInnes doing some very good spotting work in midfield. Jury finds Loudrup. He's a chance. And Denham again made the block. A little bit of slackness there from Motherwell on the far side. Well, Alexei Mikalichenko's effort a moment ago was quite spectacular. Lovely knockdown, superb half volley and straight at Scott Howe. Did well to hold it at the second attempt, but great stroke by Mikalichenko. David Ross wanted that to take that first time in the run, but McInnes was in the way. Charlie Miller. Tackled very well indeed by Lambert. Motherwell battling hard in defence. Lambert. Much more effective game second hour. It's just very busy indeed. Goff attacking the long throw. Well, the whistle gone as the ball slithers through Scott Howie from Brian Loudrup. Mikalichenko protesting. This gives Scott Howie the benefit of the doubt. I think he heard the whistle, was less than diligent there with the save. As up goes Mikalichenko there. He gets up quite well, I think, as Rob McKinnon can't quite get up to the ball. The ball's right above his head, and Granada does finish it off very well. The referee had already given a free kick. It's one of those situations where Alexander Mikalichenko has attacked the ball. Rob McKinnon's been underneath it, and unfortunately for Mikalichenko, the referee's given a free kick. I really do believe that Scott Howie knew that was not going to count. That's McKinnon showing his ability on the ball. Ivanovich back to Howie. Well, the high balls really should cause no difficulty at all for Rangers like that. That's good play by Lambert. Bonds in the clear. Support Wade in the middle. Still Bonds. And he's hit the post. Well, such calm finishing there by Alec Bonds. Still no reward up front for Motherwell. And now the counter-attack on for Rangers, led by Loudrup. Miller to the left. Robertson arriving later on the left. Still Loudrup. Here's Robertson. Thumped away in the end by Krivokapic. Here's David Robertson looking for help. Provided there well by McInnes. This is Loudrup again. No way past Krivokapic. Such a determined tackle. And Bonds is away from Petric again. Another problem for the Rangers defence. Turned away by Goff, and really the options inside weren't sufficient for Motherwell. Bonds doing so well on the right hand side. Great breakaway by Alex Burns. Good first touch into the box now. He thinks about shooting. Richard Goff thinks he's going to block him. Slips over, comes inside on his right foot, hammers it across the face of the goal. It's a deflection off McLaren, hits the face of the post and comes out. Really unlucky for Alex Burns, who's come into the game now. Had a bit of a quiet first half, bit of a quiet start to the second half, but really on fire now. So, Motherwell's corner, taken by Roddy. It's a good one. Goff and Martin together. Neither could make contact. That's Loudrup. Laying the ball wide here for Miller. Richard Goff has taken some time to recover from the Rangers goal now. He's back on his feet now, coming upfield. Clashing with Brian Martin, going for the high ball. sensing, I think, the prospect of victory. Here's Billy Davis. Now McKinnon. A great chance there for Burns. Really was laid a plate by McKinnon. Well, really quite remarkable, the involvement of Alec Burns in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Time.
The Motherwell supporter performance and the commitment and effort demonstrated by their team. Denham, that very sweet left foot. No one on the far side though, except Charlie Miller for Rangers. Lambert and Martin together. That's confident play. Eddie May with Goran Petric. The free kick goes to Motherwell. Well, Burns had that great chance a moment or two ago.
Good ball by McKinnon across the face of the goal, and Burns there really aside for the chance. Couldn't quite get his legs right, couldn't quite get the ball down, couldn't quite make contact with the ball in the first place. But a real good chance. Alex Burns could have had 2 goals in the space of about 2 or 3 minutes. Rangers can't get the ball away, they can't get the ball out, they can't hold on to the ball and make a few passes and try and kill the situation, try and calm their nerves in on, because Motherwell really are on the ascendancy. Motherwell can't quite finish Rangers off. They've been in some great positions, probably the best positions that they have all game. They've not got a goal to show from it, so I think McLeish will be a little bit disappointed that they haven't got anything to show from 2 great breaks, in particular from Alex Burns. But they've still got the momentum, they've still got the free kick on the edge of the box, and Alex Burns really proving a bit of a handful for Richard Gough and also for Gordon Petric.
Confidence going on now in the Rangers dugout. Walter Smith has come down to discuss things with Archie Knox and Davy Dodds. Bit of eye damage there for Richard Gough. He had a black eye a couple of weeks ago, so a recurrence perhaps of the damage there. But a free kick from Motherwell. The same trio involved again. Lambert, Davis, McKinnon. And they got him all out on the line. McKinnon forced to do that because of Mikhailchenko's charge at the ball. Mikhailchenko again doing well. Here's Gordon Jury, wants to go for a run. Forced the ball past a couple of players, but Davis was there for Motherwell. That's Krivokovic. Krivokovic again picks out the pass carefully from Martin. Here's McSkimming. Davis, McSkimming, Burns, May. Good tackle by Robertson, but once again Motherwell demonstrating a kind of form which took them to the top of the league last season. Not difficult to see how Motherwell were in contention for so long last season. Now they have to defend again as Laudrup breaks. It's a great early ball. Well, Jury took the decision to take that first time. He had the possibility, I think, of bringing it down. Applauding Brian Laudrup. Great play, good ball inside by Ian Ferguson there. Brian Laudrup looks at the far post. I think Gordon Jury could have come and headed that really instead of trying to sweep it down. Even if it had taken a touch, I think Brian Martin would have got to block the shot or whatever, but a header across the face of the goal, probably his trademark, might have resulted in a goal or an opportunity for somebody else, but probably took the wrong option and put the ball over the bar. The Rangers showing they retain a high degree of menace when they break like that, especially when they get Laudrup involved. Well, there's a feast of football coming up on Sky Sports. Terrific action over the weekend and into the Christmas break. Super Sunday starting at 11 o'clock, note the time. Leeds United against Manchester United. Here's Gordon Jury, the chance for the opener. Scott Harry goes down, and still Motherwell survive. Well, and he may play a pass there to Brian Martin inside the 6-yard box. Quite incredible. Martin clearing up in the end. Scott Howie did well though that time. Goes Gough. Breaks for Mikhailchenko. Gough attacking the ball again. There's Jury. That's a very good turn by Jury. Looking for a rash tackle inside the box. Back with David Robertson. Gough goes up again. away.
Well, the ball played through the golden jury now. He just good bit of pace here, good bit of strength. Holds off Brian Martin, thinks about placing it, tries to go inside Scott Howie, tries to lay the ball, I think, into somebody's path. Scott Howie didn't quite read the dummy, able to get back, and Eddie May passed to Brian Martin, who's able to clear the danger. But good play there, typical endemic really of Motherwell's team spirit. They're clean through their golden jury. They managed to get back in numbers, they managed to get back in force, and that's been typical of their performance, a really rugged and solid performance from them.
That's Mikhailchenko back defending. Here's Eddie May. Well, scarce enough time because of the action this match to tell you about the matches coming up. But Blackburn Rovers against Manchester City on Boxing Day, starting at 7:30 on Sky Sports. Then the big one, Manchester United against Newcastle United. 5:30 start for the programme on Wednesday, December 27. And later that evening also, Bolton Wanderers against Leeds United. It really is a feast. Now Denham. Forward goes McKinnon. Burns is going to cross also to give some help to McKinnon. Great left foot he's got. Mikhailchenko. Another excellent left foot. Gordon Jury takes the break of the ball there. McKinnon wins it back. Well, it's really remarkable, Terry. This game's still goalless.
Oh, we've had some great efforts on goal, great saves by the goalkeepers. Woodwork's been hit twice, once on either side. We've had blocks, headers, everything scrambles in the goal with one-on-ones. We've had a lot, really. We haven't got a goal, and we should have got a goal from either side.
So a foul there by Gordon Petrich on Andy Roddy. The change going to be made here by Motherwell. Brian Martin, who's been struggling with injury, he has to come off after a terrific performance in the heart of that Motherwell defence. And the replacement going on is Innes Ritchie, a direct replacement, centre-back for centre-back. 22-year-old. He's had some first-team experience this season. He's helped on by Barnes. Goff turns it away. Time for Roddy here to set up a cross. That's McSkimming. Thought about taking that on the hook, but turns back. May forward. There's no offside. It's back with Denham. Now McSkimming. Well, there were chances there, options all over the place. Over on the far side, Billy Davis was screaming for the ball. Alec McLeish is down there, looking tense.
There's a little dink ball into the box here. Burns really had a lot more space than he thought he had. Probably should have met that first time, Greg Denham, but he didn't. He just laid the ball off there to McSkimming, who put a shot wide. But Greg Denham, had that ball been on his left-hand side, he would have been able to smash that one on goal. But as it came straight down to the middle of him, he couldn't decide which foot to strike it with, and consequently passed to McSkimming and put it over the bar. Good chance.
Mikhailchenko in that unaccustomed wing-back position on the right-hand side. Always given cover by Alan McLaren behind him right enough. There's Laudrup. Forward pace matched by Lambert. That's great play by Laudrup. Cross is too long though. David Robertson retrieves and there's nowhere to go. Wow, in the closing 10 minutes, Alec McLeish now sensing that Motherwell can win this. Certainly a blow, though, to lose Brian Martin at this stage, Terry.
Yes, he's played very well alongside Kupokovic and Denham. Have formed a very solid barrier against Rangers, and it's a pity because he was in line for the man of the match, so we'll have to wait and see who we decide is the man of the match. But I've got to make an awkward choice now. But at the end of the day, he has played very well. He's been very assured. He's been able to get on the end of good crosses from Rangers, block any chance. He's been able to create attacks as well, and always a danger in the Rangers penalty area. So just a straight one-for-one swap. But Alec McLeish, we saw him there whistling and getting a bit hurried. He must be disappointed in the way that they've had two great chances and not failed to score on both of them.
McKinnon trying to get the better of Mikhailchenko. He's managed that. That's a very good cross. Chance on this time. Roddy with a header. Gordon with a save. The counter-attack on here. Space in the centre of Derek McInnes. He's brought down by Lambert. McSkimming, rather, I think, made the challenge. McInnes so frustrated there. substitute again for Motherwell, and another player limping off is Billy Davis. So he goes off, and number 12 coming on is Jamie Dolan. That's the first of these electronic score signs there for the substitutes of this country. Motherwell with that Italian convention to demonstrate the change of players. Dennis flights it in, it's headed on by Goff, met well by Denham, resisting the challenge of Ferguson. Ferguson again. He's all at the pass. Well, reaching a stage in the match, Terry, where one goal can win this.
Yes, one goal. We'll probably see a scrappy goal as well that will win it, because we've seen some great quality chances, great quality play, and good goalkeeping on both sides, with Scott Howe and Andy Goran, when called upon, to produce some terrific saves. And has been end-to-end stuff. It has been a hungry match. Both sides are eager for the points, of course, and no call has been asked, no call has been given. So it's been a very tense and physical battle. But there has been quality there. There has been some good chances. There has been quality passing. So at the end of the day, the punters especially should be pleased with the match.
Dolan's header forward. It's returned there by Goff, and Roddy's in behind him. 1-2 long on the ball. Lambert supporting. So too is Burns. And Goff goes to the rescue of Ferguson. McLaren completes the clearance only as far as Dolan. Now McKinnon. Came off Dolan last. It's a throw to Rangers. So Dolan, a direct replacement for Billy Davis, right in the centre of that midfield trio. Denham doing well there against Jury, who's guilty of leaning into him illegally. It's been a major test for this youngster, Greg Denham, and he's come through it extremely well. It's easy for David Robertson, but slicing him around. It's McKinnon knocking it in space for Dolan. Mikalichenko did well. Here's Derek McInnes. Ferguson puts out Robertson. This is Petrich. Mikalichenko limping heavily down below us on the Rangers' right. Pass intended there for Robertson. Andy Roddy back there, marking him. They were both at Pittodrie together with Aberdeen. Mikalichenko struggling a bit, saying he's all right, doesn't want to come off. Ennis Ritchie with the clearing, right-footed ball upfield, and now it is Miodrag Krivonovic. Well, just hates to thump the ball forward, although Scott Howe is left with no option but to do just that. Up goes Goff. Charlie Miller get a touch on. That's for Eddie May, now Petrich. Goff has Alan McLaren available. So in the closing 5 minutes, both sides thinking in terms of winning the match right at the end, and Goff stealing forward there. This is Laudrup. Dragging the ball across the face of the box. Great ball to Ferguson. Close again from Rangers. And the creative work done by Brian Laudrup once more.
Good play by Brian Laudrup. Slips the ball inside in. Ferguson on the turn. Quick snapshot. Good strike, good contact, but about 4 or 5 feet wide. Good effort by Rangers, but good play once again by Motherwell. They got players in the way, got players to block him in so that he didn't have a clear passage. But been unable really to make that clear-cut chance. Apart from Gordon Dury's, possibly when he did hit the bar, that all their good players warranted.
Rob McKinnon with a throw. Dolan with McKinnon. Not the angle Dolan was trying to get, I don't think. Jury did well. So then Lambert, he's offside, Roddy. Toe poked through by Lambert. Roddy slow coming back. Well, Really would be a shame, I think, for either side to lose the match at this stage. You have the contribution they both made to the attacking play, the chance making. So the throw goes to Motherwell. Well, the Motherwell defence has been frugal all season, and they've just been looking for a little goal touch up front. Still hasn't materialised tonight. But they've been resilient at the back, hanging on well. Denham kept it in. Here's Bonds. Tackled there by McLaren. There'll be a hold up here. The Rangers player requires attention. Time now for Terry Butcher to name his man of the match.
Yes, I've gone for a player who's the left-footed good defender, Greg Denham, I should say. In my opinion, has been the best player for me on the park tonight. Just impressed me because he's been very assured, very confident, hasn't played many games in the Premier League. He's playing against quality opposition, lovely left foot on him, very calm, very assured, and that's a quality player for the future. And Alec McLeish obviously could play himself in the side, but I think he'd just take a back seat and just influence this man, and he'll be able to give him all the tips he can, because Alec was a class defender and very comfortable on the ball himself. But he's done very well. Good left foot, good strong left foot, good strong in the air, and a great prospect.
Greg Denham, just 19 years old, named as man of the match by Terry Butcher. You should know about left-sided central defenders. McKinnon to McSkimming. Was Ian Ferguson? There's Dolan now, launching that up beside us in the commentary gantry.
He probably heard he wasn't man of the match and tried to hit me with the ball there, John.
Petric. Loudrop has gone roaming again, superbly tackled by Ritchie. Well, there's been no question on the Motherwell commitment tonight. They really have battled extremely hard. Could be the kind of performance to set them back in the rails again for the league campaign. Here's Gordon Jury. Kalichenko takes over, loves to come inside like this. Here's Richard Goff encroaching forward to join the attack. Loudrop inside the box. Danger here for Motherwell. They retains it after the stumble. McInnes, Loudrop again, testing his stamina here. Lambert wins it. Eddie May gets a call inside from Innes Ritchie. Here's one for Barnes to chase. 1 against 2, no real prospect of winning that. Now it's Richard Goff. Closing minute of the match. Forward it goes from McLaren's hopeful pass. And bouncing away there for the Motherwell throw. Well, we're into stoppage time now. There's been a little bit of that in this second half. Linesman Jim Herald has just signalled to the referee that the 90 minutes are over. So the question of injury time down to the referee. Big skimming, forcing that upfield. Roddy's with Robertson. And there's Petric. Complete miscue by Ritchie, but falling kindly to the feet of Eddie May. That's a bad clearance. So was the ball from McInnes though, and Ritchie thumps the ball deep inside the Rangers half. These tense, nervous closing minutes when one false move could mean the loss of the match. Another substitution, and Motherwell bringing on Roy Essendon. Player coming off is Andy Roddy. Well, I think this suggests that Motherwell will settle for a point at this stage, Terry.
Well, they'll settle for the point, but Alec McLeish knows that just one long ball, one half chance, and the answer's got Essendon very quick up front, and he might get on the end of something. And they've been very tight at the back. I think in the closing stages they've really shown that they have a great support and a great belief in their manager and each other by battling hard together. And if you've got that belief and if you've got the skill on the side, you're going to climb the table. I'm sure Motherwell will do that.
So Roy Essendon, 19 years old, his third appearance for the first team as substitute. Young man born in Belfast. Goff well forward. There's Jury, and he was matched all the way there. Some very good defending, but an injury there to Krivokapic in the process there of stopping Gordon Jury, and he's in trouble, clearly in trouble. That's serious, that left knee. Well, Krivokapic had a long spell out through injury, came back in October after months out of the side. Well, the message is clear from Krivokapic. He's in trouble. Signalling that to the bench.
He's not too bad. As the ball dropping here, it's a bit of a block there. As you can see, Gordon Jury just comes through as he makes the shot. It's one of them balls that just drops down. You have to go for it as a defender. He got there at the same time as Gordon Jury, both a block, and ended up, I think, Gordon Jury just catching Krivokapic on the knee with his studs. But it's one of them challenges that a defender has to make in the last minute of the game, and it was a very brave one. He's okay.
Well, looks like a bang in the knee, and that's good news for Motherwell and for Krivokapic. He couldn't really afford another serious injury at this stage in his career. 36 years old he is now. Still organising at the back as Robertson sends in the long throw. It was well won by Ritchie. Here's Mikhalichenko. Robertson caught there clearly by Burns. That was a foul. No point in Burns arguing about it. He certainly caught David Robertson. So free kick here, the Rangers trying very hard to win the match as they've done so frequently in the closing seconds. It's a good ball in, needs a touch. Dolan still trying to play passes from defence. Lambert sends it long. Burns chasing. Referee McCluskey's checked his watch again as Robertson sends it back. Still referee McCluskey in the middle, signals the end of a dramatic match. A handshake there, Walter Smith and Alec McLeish. Sharchinocks also. And Motherwell battled manfully to the end there, hanging on a bit at the end. Alec Burns caused so many problems on Rangers in the second half from that right-hand side. And Greg Denham, a tower of strength, the young man, at the back beside Martin and Krivokapic. So Richard Goff trying very hard to inspire a late winner for Rangers, pushing forward. Exchanging pleasantries there with Mio Drag. Krivokapic appears to have recovered completely. And a handshake there from Andy Goram for Krivokapic, also a mark of respect. These Motherwell supporters leaving, and I think Terry entitled to believe that the team may well be back at the rails.
Well, I think there's nothing wrong really with Motherwell, that a goal or two wouldn't help, because at the end of the day, because they've created chances, played very well for their manager and everything else. It's just the case that they haven't scored goals. They haven't scored goals on a regular basis. That's why they're at the bottom of the league. If you don't score goals, you don't win games.
So now down in the tunnel area, Davy Provan is with Rob McKinnon and Greg Denham.
Greg, congratulations, you're Terry Butcher's man of the match tonight, but even after all that effort, it's hardly a result that does much for either side. Do you feel Motherwell deserve more out of the game tonight?
I think a point was just a bit justified. Two teams came very close twice. I think a point was a fair result in the end.
It's only your 6th first-team appearance for Motherwell this season. How difficult has it been to make the step up from reserve football to playing against the likes of Brian Laudrup here tonight?
There's a big gulf between reserve football and that out there tonight. But the boys have been magnificent tonight and I've helped me along great. Been brilliant.
Rob, what do you make of the contribution that this young man and the likes of Innes Ritchie are making?
Big man's done brilliant in the last few games, and he's steadied us up at the back a wee bit. Been brilliant.
2 away matches coming up now against Hearts and Falkirk. After tonight's performance, do you feel you can approach them with some confidence?
I think we've got to take a wee lift for that tonight. Obviously we didn't win the game, but the next best thing, we never conceded anything, which was good.
You might be getting a little bit fed up with moral victories. Are you at a stage now where you'd settle for a bad performance, providing you took the points?
I think that'd be nice, it'd be nice over the Christmas period to pick up a few points, definitely.
Well, Greg, you're the man of the match. Rob, perhaps you might present the champagne to him. Well done tonight, lads.
Well done. Cheers, bro. Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thank you.
Just in time for Christmas. That's nice, isn't it?
Alec, do you feel that you could have asked for any more from your players out there tonight?
No, I don't think so, Davey. They gave their all, and the end result is we've got some more in the wounded list. But it was a great performance, a gutsy performance from them, and it wasn't the worst result in the world.
Well, you've matched the champions and the league leaders. What do you think that will do for your dressing room psychologically now?
Well, I think it'll give them a big lift. You know, obviously Rangers coming here, it does mean a lot to the players to win the game, or, you know, as we did tonight, we got a point and probably won us even just about right at the end. But that'll give them a big lift. You know, certainly they're a bit bubblier than of late, shall we say.
You've had no choice but to throw youngsters like Innes Ritchie and Greg Denham into the fray recently. What did you make of their contribution?
Yeah, well, Innes come on when Brian Martin was beginning to struggle with his hamstring, and he did what he was asked of when he came on the second half of the match. Richard Goff at set pieces, who looked very dangerous early on. and I thought Greg Denham was immense.
2 away matches now against Falkirk and Hearts coming up. Can you approach them now with some confidence?
Yeah, we've all, I said to you before the game, David, there was frustration. The heads weren't down, it was just frustration really. And we're a bit disappointed about the position that we're in at the moment, and I think that performance belies our position.
Thanks a lot, Alec.
Pleasure, thanks.
Well, really needed the win, but the point psychologically has to be massive. They're off the bottom. That makes good reading in itself, doesn't it?
It makes very good reading. Plus they're going to Falkirk away from home soon, so that becomes a real serious game for them. But I think all in all, they look as if they're playing very well. I think it really probably is frustration it's shown in the camp at the moment rather than lack of confidence. But I think once they get a victory, I think you could see them quite keen to get back in the habit and climbing the table.
Everyone's played 18 now. Motherwell off the bottom, 9th place above Falkirk. Look at the top though, really tight now. 2 points Rangers lead from Celtic as we go into Christmas and the New Year. January the 3rd, remember, Parkhead, Celtic versus Rangers, and it's live here on Sky Sports. This is what's coming up on Boxing Day. Falkirk, Aberdeen, Hearts, Motherwell, Partick against Hibs,